Hey guys, it's Timmy, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited, as we are here on the 20th of February, 2020. It's 2/20/20. What a coincidence. Anyways, we're on the 20th of February, 2020 to talk about everything that went down this week on NXT. Now, I'm trying out the new YouTube live studio, so I apologize if it went live for like 30 seconds before you saw me on the screen. I'm still getting the hang of how this actually works and whatnot, so bear with me. If something goes wrong, it's because I'm learning on the fly. But, again, we're here to talk about NXT. I thought NXT this week was okay. It wasn't as good as Dynamite. Dynamite was a blow-away show, and NXT was, like I said, just an okay show this week. I really thought coming off of the pay-per-view, the takeover event, whatever you want to call it, that it could have done a lot better. It could have just had a better show altogether, and they didn't. I don't know exactly what happened, but we'll see. We'll see if they can bump it up next week. I know next week they've got a number of things already announced, which we'll talk about here soon when we get to it. So let's see who's with us in the live chat. I know there's not that many of you guys with us. We do have, let's see, Jeff Guevara, Luke Petke, Jason Hong, Hunter Does Gaming. What's going on, everybody? I think the live chat's working for me. For some reason, I'm not sure if it's working for me. Again, I'm using something new that I've never used before, so bear with me just a little bit as I get everything here. Boom, boom, boom. I think we are good to go. So NXT this week. The Undisputed Era came out at the beginning of the show, and Adam Cole said that he told everybody what he was going to do. That he's going to beat Ciampa and walk out of TakeOver still NXT champion. And, well, he did that, and then he passed the mic to Roderick Strong, who was going to talk about his match with Velveteen Dream later on tonight, but the lights went out, and Dream did a voiceover promo as his logo appeared on the Titantron. Strong said that Dream would regret ever coming back to NXT. And that was really the opening segment. That was all it really was. Didn't do anything to hype me for that match later in the night. We then got a Cruiserweight Championship match. It was Jordan Devlin versus Lio Rush. And this was, I don't know. I thought both guys worked well, but it wasn't that good of a match. Like, it was just a match. So early on, they started off with a lockup. They had a quick exchange less than a minute in before NXT had to cut to a commercial. It looked like Rush took too much of the offense during the break when Devlin was down in the corner with strikes, and then later tried grounding Devlin with a submission hold. Devlin turned the tables on Rush during the commercial, sticking a turnaround Arabian press on Rush from behind. Devlin took too much of the next part of the match, at one point launching Lio Rush across the ring with a half-and-half suplex, and later landing a brutal-looking kitchen sink knee that earned a replay. I thought the crowd was in support of Lio Rush. I'm thinking maybe they're just not fully, I guess you could say, what's the word I'm looking for, up to knowing Jordan Devlin that well. I know he's been a staple of NXT UK ever since the NXT UK brand started, but it's just like, I felt like they just didn't care about Jordan Devlin, to be completely honest. At one point, Devlin hit a quick cutter and sent Rush out to the floor. Devlin went for a moonsault to the floor, but he missed it. Devlin rolled through and landed on his feet. Rush responded with a springboard corkscrew moonsault of his own. Rush then caught Devlin in a Koji clutch. The crowd started chanting tap at Devlin. They really, really, really wanted Lio Rush to win this match. And then he got his ankle on the bottom rope, and Lio Rush had a break. Rush then landed an avalanche poison Rana. Then the come up for a very close near fall. Devlin again got his feet on the ropes for the break. Rush then used a frog splash, tried to, and missed. Moments later, Devlin was able to land his Devlin side back suplex, win the match. There you go. He needs a new finish. This finish looks so unbelievable. I hate his finish, where he like yanks the guy, sometimes from a down position, sometimes from laying down. Grabs him, yanks him, throws him up over his shoulder. It's just, no. You can tell that the opponent is literally leaping to make this move work, and it just doesn't look good to me. Jordan Devlin needs a new finish, in my opinion. Tommaso Ciampa was shown at the venue before the next commercial break. Back from the break, we got a post-match interview with Rhea Ripley after her match from last Sunday at TakeOver. With regard to Charlotte Flair's attack on her ahead of their match at WrestleMania, she said that the joke is on Charlotte because Rhea is the one who got what she wanted. Austin Theory came out next, presumably for a match, but Tommaso Ciampa would follow him out and attack him. Grab the mic, start talking about TakeOver Portland. When Theory came up and asked, "What's going on?" Ciampa responded with, "Not tonight." Ciampa tried explaining how he knew why Johnny Gargano did what he did at TakeOver. Theory then went to turn Ciampa around, but Ciampa landed him with a right hand. Ciampa then said Gargano needed to be gone from NXT. So if he says he needs to be gone, does that mean loser leaves town match coming up soon? Maybe? I don't know. I know both guys don't want to go to the main roster. So that's the thing. You've got two guys where you kind of in one line tease loser leaves town, but neither want to leave town. Like, legitimately. When Ciampa began walking to the back, Theory again went after him. Ciampa then proceeded to beat the tar out of this kid. He had to whip him into the ringside barricade and just beat the crap out of him. We then learned later, next week, Ciampa versus Austin Theory. So Chelsea Green was at a photo shoot with her manager Robert Stone before the next break. Their brand launch, or relaunch I say, is later tonight, whatever that means. I guess it's we lost before, but we're going to retry, I guess. Finn Balor says NXT is a chessboard. After defeating Johnny Gargano this past Sunday, he said to keep an eye out for his next move. We then learned that Finn should be on the show next week. Grizzled Young Veterans, James Drake and Zach Gibson, took on Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wild. Wild, the former DJZ in Impact, if you're unaware. Wild and Drake started this match off. And the Grizzled Young Veterans went out of their way to ground the more alert team of Wild and Mendoza. Lots of creative stuff here early on from the Grizzled Young Veterans. Mendoza had a strong hot tag midway through, and he actually cleaned house, wrapping one segment with a nice springboard missile dropkick to Gibson, but it was short-lived. Grizzled Young Veterans took Mendoza out only moments later after Gibson landed a codebreaker with an assist from Drake for the win. Match didn't go too long. I didn't think it was anything. It did what it was supposed to do. It got the Grizzled Young Veterans over. So, in that regard, I think that worked out well. Gibson got on the mic and said that they weren't in the quote-unquote land of the free, but the land of the neckbeards and Yanks. They said that they'd be taking over NXT before heading backstage. The Broserweights, Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle, celebrated with the fans in the crowd as they made their way to the ring. Dunne said that Riddle got their golf cart impounded at TakeOver. Riddle said they both partied hard in Portland, but the Dusty Cup didn't party too hard with them and passed the wellness policy. What? Okay. He said the cup will be out for 30 days. I'm like, what? Riddle then says, quote, "It's a thing here. It's a thing." I didn't like that at all. It's basically making the wellness policy a complete farce, a complete joke. You've got guys like Andrade and Robert Roode who were just suspended for failing the wellness policy, and you're making jokes about it on TV? No. I didn't like that at all. Before we go forward, we got a super chat donation from Luke Pitke. Thank you. He says, who do you think will be Finn's next rival? That's a tough one. I mean, to be honest, I can maybe see him going up. I know I said that I couldn't see this on Sunday at TakeOver, but I thought about this more. I can maybe see him getting another shot at the NXT Championship. I mean, who else really is there to challenge Adam Cole anyways? So, next up, we got the Broserweights taking on Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan. Dunn and Burch we're in for the first few minutes, followed by Riddle and Lorcan next. Everyone looked natural together. They all just seemed to just mesh perfectly. Excuse me. They went to commercial break during a good sequence here. Kind of like they didn't, I don't want to say they didn't want to go to break here, but it seemed like they were just hitting a good vibe, and then, oh, we got to go to break. Like, crap. We just all of a sudden out of nowhere. One point we saw Lorcan with a half crab locked on Riddle when we returned from the break. The crowd was quiet. Things heated up when Riddle tagged out to Dunn, who used a diving stomp on Burch's fingers, then locked him into a cross arm lock. Burch reached the bottom rope for the break. Riddle and Dunn hit an assisted powerbomb high knee combo for a 2. Lorcan ran in and saved his partner, Burch, from a pin attempt. The Broserweights then would soon score the victory here. They landed the Riddle end combo finish on Oney Lorcan. I had that written down weird. Oney Lorcan was the one that got pinned. They went into the crowd and celebrated with the fans after their match. Roderick Strong was with the rest of Undisputed Era backstage and insisted tonight is his match. In his match, he didn't need their help. He told them, hey, stay in the back. He explained that this match with the Dream, or with Velveteen Dream, needed to be taken care of. He needed to be serious here, and he didn't want any help. So the Forgotten Sons then cut a selfie promo. They were backstage saying that they were offended by what the grizzled young veterans said about neckbeards and yanks, implying that the team will be in a match together sometime soon. So we've got, I guess you can say, the heels from across the pond coming in and talking bad, I guess you can say, about America. And so you're going to use, I get this in a way, you're going to use the Forgotten Sons that nobody cares about to, what's the word I'm looking for? Avenge America? Defend. That's the word I'm looking for. Defend America. I get that they're all former military, but it's like, what are we even thinking here? What the heck? No one cares about the grizzled young veterans. So it's just like, why are we going to care if they're defending America? We then got clips of Keith Lee on WWE backstage. He came to the ring, was about to cut a promo when Kona Reeves came out. Before Kona Reeves could take him out, Lee knocked him into the corner. Lee then pinned Reeves after a ground zero. Very quick match. And then Dominik Dijakovic would come out. He came out to the ring and told Lee he wanted another title match. Let me say that again. He wanted another title shot. He said that he had Lee beat at TakeOver Portland until his lower back gave out. Lee responded with saying that if Dijakovic can get it approved by William Regal, then he would gladly fight forever against Dominik Dijakovic. And I liked their matches, but move on. Move the fuck on. Why give this guy another shot? He says, I could have won if my back didn't give out. Well, that's your fault. Train your back more or something. I don't know. I just think that they need to move on. I get it. This is one of the best matchups you've got in NXT. They always deliver. They always have great matches. But Keith Lee needs to do more. We need to see more with Keith Lee. Keith Lee can work with anybody. I'm not a fan of doing this again, to be completely honest. So then we got Chelsea Green versus Caden Carter. And I actually got pretty mad during this match. So Stone introduced Green before she came out on commentary. Stone was described as a marketing genius. Carter went for a couple of pin attempts early on. The crowd disappeared during this. They didn't care. Green made a comeback midway through and stretched Carter with a camel clutch. So when Green starts stomping a mud hole on Carter, Bianca Belair just randomly appears out of nowhere. Grabs a mic and says, "Hey, do your thing. I know you're doing your thing, but give me a minute." And I'm like, what the fuck is this? She then says, "Charlotte Flair, I told you you don't go here. But you still want to get in our business." She's like, "I don't care if it's here, if it's Raw, SmackDown, there, anywhere, anytime. I'm going to whoop that ass." And then she gets out of the ring and they just finish their match. Chelsea Green rolls up Caden Carter, 1, 2, 3, picks up the victory. This pissed me off. Because it's like, we've got these two women that are trying to get television time. And you make them seem like they don't matter. By having Bianca Belair come out there and cut a promo on Charlotte Flair. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. To have her come out there and say, "I know y'all doing your thing, but hold on one sec." She couldn't even wait till they finished their match. No. They sent her out there during their match and made us think, well, if we ever see them on TV again, who the fuck cares about them? We should never care about Caden Carter and Chelsea Green because, well, we don't. So it's like, aye. So next up, 2 announcements for next week. Like I already stated, Austin Theory versus Tommaso Ciampa.
I know that one.
And there was a run-in by my Alexa. Austin Theory versus Tommaso Ciampa and Finn Balor appearance next week. Additionally, Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox, they're going to have another match in 2 weeks. March 4th, steel cage match. Yes, William Regal did announce that because Raquel Gonzalez got involved in TakeOver, she ain't going to be able to get involved this time when he puts the 2 women in a steel cage. And technically, it's their rubber match. Tegan Nox won the first match on, I want to say, January 29th on NXT. And then Dakota Kai picked up the victory on a TakeOver. So, hey, rubber match, steel cage, why not? Then we move on to the main event. And the main event... One second, guys. Trying to figure something out here. Okay, so the main event, Velveteen Dream versus Roderick Strong. And I don't know if it's because Dream has been out for so long or what, but he seemed off. And not just a little off either. A bit off. And you have to try to have an off night against Roderick Strong. So Dream and Strong began scrapping early. The match would moderately grow. Like I said, moderately, because I felt like this match never really got going too well. Like it picked up and then it came back down, but it never like picked up and really took off. So at one point, Dream tried whipping Strong with his belt before the ref ordered him to remove it from the ring. In the early middle of this, Strong ripped Dream across the chest with a sharp chop. They used a pendulum backbreaker that had Dream retreating to the floor. He sold it loudly. Dream returned some sort of offense on the floor and whipped him into the barricade before the show went to the final commercial break of the night. The match went off in the inset, picture-in-picture. Dream choked Strong with the fans' green sign. Strong rallied back with another backbreaker outside of the ring and a lateral suplex from the apron to the floor. No, to in the ring. Strong had Dream locked in a chinlock when we came back from commercial. Dream fired up and threw a flurry of punches and was able to brawl his way back into this match. The crowd dipped in and out, especially towards the end. You could tell this crowd was getting tired. I don't know if it's They just didn't like the show tonight, or we're getting the same people every week and they're just finally going, I've had enough, I guess. Because that's what it seemed like. They just were tiring out. They did at one point start clapping for a minute or so. Dream went to the top rope and landed a double axe handle. When Dream went back to the top for something, Strong shoved him off. When Dream landed chest first onto the ring post, Strong was able to land a top rope backbreaker onto Dream, dropping Dream back first onto the top turnbuckle. Dream knocked Strong out of the ring. There wasn't much of an urgency at this point. Dream ripped off his bodysuit to reveal more tights, with Marina Shafir on the back of them. Undisputed Era then came down to the ring and Dream dove onto all of them. Back in the ring, Dream did the springboard, but Strong caught him with a knee for a 2 count. In the final moments of the match, Dream was able to steal a pin away from Strong to win the match, but there wasn't much of a celebration when the Undisputed Era would run in, attack the Velveteen Dream, and they posed over him as the show went off the air. And here's my thing with this. So you've got Velveteen Dream in here playing Rick Rude, saying, you're not a man, I'm a man, and I'm going to take your woman. But he's supposed to be the babyface. Roderick Strong is the man now that wants to defend the honor of his family. He's supposed to be the heel. I don't know who wrote this bullshit, but they wrote it backwards. They wrote the heel as the babyface and the babyface as the heel. I don't like that either. So with that, that was NXT. Again, like I stated, I thought it was just an okay show, to be completely honest. Thank you, Frank Marquez, for the super chat donation. And we do have a couple text messages I do want to read. If you want to send in your thoughts on this week's NXT, you can do so at 510-906-1341. The number is in the live chat. Again, that's 510-906-1341. This first text message here, if I can get it to load up, does state, what do you think after NXT TakeOver once the Undisputed Era loses all the time? I'm not going to fantasy book 4 or 5 months out. I'm just going to say that right now. Because we don't even know what the plans are or the teases for TakeOver. How are you going to book? How are you going to, not to be rude to the text message here, but how do you want someone to book past the next TakeOver when we don't even have any inklings of what that TakeOver is going to see other than possibly most likely Gargano Ciampa? Other than that, we don't know jack diddly. So how am I supposed to fantasy book past that? You say, once the Undisputed Era loses all the show, gold. How do you know that? You also say they're going to show up and attack Drew McIntyre if he wins the WWE Championship. Why? They've already done that storyline. Undisputed Era attacked Drew McIntyre when he was NXT champion. Don't go back to the well. Don't do the same thing again. Do something new and fresh. Let's go to the next text message. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude to the texter here. I'm just saying, it's like, why do you want to see them on the main roster do the same thing they did on NXT? And why do you want to see... you can't fantasy book that far out if we don't know 3 months out, 2 months out. This person says, who do you see dethroning Adam Cole at Mania weekend? Tommaso Ciampa seemed a little heelish last night. And that's the thing. I don't know. Maybe Finn Balor? But I've also heard Finn can go back to the main roster over summer. I don't think it's going to be Ciampa, because Ciampa's now going to be feuding with Gargano. We've got, I'm going to use my Alexa here. Alexa, how many days till April 4th?
April 4th, 2020 is in 43 days.
We've got 42 days till TakeOver. I don't see them doing the big Gargano Ciampa blow-off before that. So I don't see either of them challenging for the championship. I don't see either of them challenging Adam Cole. So the only other big name you've got, you could say, well, what about Keith Lee? Keith Lee's the North American champion. I don't see them doing North American champion versus NXT champion. Excuse me. So the only other name you've got built up that makes any sense is Finn Balor. And I don't know if he's going to dethrone Cole. I don't know if Finn gets the belt, stays in NXT, Undisputed Era moves to the main roster. Adam Cole defeats Finn Balor again, stays in NXT. Finn goes back to the main roster. I don't know. I really haven't heard anything on any plans for NXT over the next 2 months. And finally, this person says, if it will load, no triple threat? If you're asking triple threat, Ciampa, Gargano, Cole, no. I think they want to just put the final nail in the coffin, finish off the Ciampa Gargano storyline, and you got to do that in a singles match. You can't do that with adding Adam Cole because he's going to be the extra person. He's going to be the extra guy, and you don't want your champion to be the extra guy. Just saying. But with that, that's going to do it for tonight's NXT review. Again, I thought the show was just a show. I know the ratings were up this week, intrigue off of the takeover, but hopefully this average show doesn't deter fans from watching next week. So with that, I want to thank everybody who did join me here tonight to talk about NXT, everybody who watches later right here on YouTube, and listens on podcast services all around the world like iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and so many more. I'm trying to think of all the different ones we're on. So many more. So thank you guys for joining me. Have a good night, and I'll see you live again tomorrow, maybe in the morning for the wrestling wrap-up. Trying to finalize a guest or a co-host, but for sure after tomorrow's SmackDown. So have a good night, guys.